Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hello, friends. Welcome to Sunny Side Up YouTube channel. My name is Charlie, and I am going to be the guide over here at Sunny Side Up. This is my first time going live, and so I am giving this a go just to see how it works out, to see how it feels. I'm starting to feel like I'm a live kind of energy, mainly because I like to get to it, and sometimes I don't have the energy to edit. So this seems like the most important thing to do. It is currently Sunday. I'm not really dressed because this is a test out, but at the same time, it is a very intentional video. So, first of all, blessings. I pray that you all are well. I am sending you some love filled energy. Um, I don't even know. I actually do have a mic here, but I kind of want to like sit back and talk. So, I probably should. All the time, this was not on. I'm not going to end the stream. We caught it now. We know. I'm not going to end the stream. I'm not going to end it. So, y'all are going to get to see my process and me figuring all of this out. I don't want to restart the stream because I already did that once already. And so we're not going to do it again. But I'm going to be mindful not to. Oh, you guys can't see the light. But I'll be mindful to not touch it and make it. Y'all. We gonna figure this out and we in this together, okay? So I'm just gonna put this here just that way I can easily just talk and like figure things out. Um Hi, you know what? Happy Sunday. I pray that you all are well. Whenever you see this, whenever you hear this, just hello. As you know, this is a new channel. And so I want to get started. I don't want to wait. I don't want to keep procrastinating. So I'm showing up. Today I'm testing out going live to see how it feels, to see how I feel about it, and also to just share this information. So, one of the things I mentioned for Sunny Side Up is that we are going to be following the transit of the sun. I started following the transit of the sun a couple of months ago, and it started on TikTok, or not a couple of months. Yeah, it's probably been a couple of months now. So, it started on TikTok and it just felt good. It felt in flow. And so I just kept going. And then I was just like, you know what? I actually want a space where I can just geek out about human design whenever I want because human design is part of my lifestyle. Like I look at a lot of things through the lens of energy and oftentimes using the language of human design, energy and keys because they have been super helpful in me just making sense of things and being able to put into words what I'm experiencing and what I know. Um, yeah. So today, what I want to do is talk about gate 64. So the sun is currently in gate 64. Let me see how long it's been there because it's actually about to transit out of gate 64 into gate 47 starting tomorrow, Monday at about 12:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the sun is actually about to make a transit out into a new gate. And so the reason why I want to do gate 64 is because one, we're currently in that energy. I have definitely been feeling it. And I want to put this information out there because when we move to gate 47 actually completes the channel of abstraction with gate 64. So if we talk about gate 64 now, and then next week I come back and I talk about gate 47, we can just wrap it up, right? The whole channel. And so I just felt like we got like it just made sense to do this just so like we can talk about the big picture next week. Okay. And so I'm gonna keep checking y'all to make sure. I actually am loving this setup. I feel good about what we have going right now, actually. Because even like, I was thinking about the setup, what's everything gonna be, do it your way. Y'all, listen, I'm all about this life. I believe that all of us should live authentically, live in our truth, that we are all expression of God. And for that reason, each of us is going to express differently. Okay. Like I feel like I'm the expression of joy of God, right? Like I express joy. God expresses itself through me. And oftentimes is a reflection of joy, is a reflection of acceptance of life, is a reflection of being what is, right? Like that's how I express the divine through me, at least in my perspective, because there's always more. Anywho, All right. So, also FYI, every week I post a blog on Medium platform about the Gates Transit. So, the blog post for the Gates Transit will often go up first. I feel like it's a great way for me to prepare for lives or prepare to create videos about the Gates by first writing up a blog post, doing research, writing it up, making it make sense. So, I'm actually pulling up the I can't see it because there's light there. But I'm actually pulling up the blog post because usually on a blog post I will put what time it transits. Okay, so we started the sun started its transit through gate 64 on Tuesday at 5:28 a.m. So it started on Tuesday and it ends on Monday at about 12:38 a.m. So it's a little over 6 days that the sun stays in a gate. And let's keep in mind that as it's in this gate, it's transiting through all the lines of that gate, right? So it's going to start with line 1 of that gate and go all the way through to line 6 and then go into the next gate. And so this is the reason why the gates in human design is also um, coordinated with astrology signs, zodiac signs, right? So gate 64, we know, would be part of the Virgo astrology. And gate 47, which we're moving into on Monday, well, tomorrow, will also be a part of like a Virgo energy. Okay. And so these gates also align with the zodiac signs. And if you are into human design, you also know that astrology is a part of the human design system. It plays a part and it speaks to the other influences that the gates may have connected to them in our charts and in our energetic field. Okay. So I also wrote up a outline because I don't want to forget anything and I want to stay focused. Sometimes I can get really like excited and just go on tangents. And so this is going to be really, really helpful. I am so excited to do this because one of the other things is like, I just want to build community and just be chilled and just have conversations and talk about these energies because I do believe that they impact our lives. I do believe that we can see them if we just start paying attention to the world around us. We can see these energies acting out, and so let's get into it. We're already 7 minutes in and I haven't even started. Okay. So anywho, let's get into it. So gate 64. So gate 64 is in the head center. Okay, so let's start there. It's in the head center. So the head center is a pressure center. It's about mental pressure. It deals with inspiration. It deals with questions. It deals with doubts. So the head center is here to ask questions and expect answers. And that's where the pressure comes in, right? Because even when things don't yet make sense, the head wants answers. It wants understanding. It wants to know why. It wants to know how. It wants to know what, right? Like it has these questions and it expects answers. So, as I mentioned, it's a pressure center, which basically moves energy towards awareness. In this case, is moving it towards mental awareness, and what that looks like is moving energy down towards the ajna, which is our processing center, the mental processing center. It is an awareness center. Okay, and so that's where the energy of the head is moving down towards. The head feels this pressure to know, to understand, and to comprehend the world, right? And so notice in that I did not say that the head is here to make decisions. It's not. Through the lens of human design, the head center is not here to make decisions for us. It is here to make sense of the world, to ask questions about the world, to get understanding about the world. And so the head, in this sense, when we looking at it through the lens of human design, is really about making sense of things, not making decisions, but holding it as possibilities. So oftentimes this is the energy for others, right? This is the energy where we may give advice, we may share stories, we may share perspectives, we may ask questions, we may seek clarity through, okay, to make sense of the world. But this is not where we make our decisions. Human design really teaches us to return to the body in making decisions and be able to make a whole body answer as opposed to just thinking about logically or anything else. Because when we think about the mind, oftentimes the mind is processing information that is already known. right? And we don't necessarily always want to live in the past, right? We want to be able to move forward. And so if we're making decisions from the mind, we may only consider what we already know to be true, what we see as possibilities, right? But when we use our whole body to make choices, then we get to a place where I believe that it is more creative, more open. We're being in the moment. We're taking in information that is available to us in that moment, and not and allowing not just our minds to process it, but our whole bodies. That includes the awareness from the splenic, the awareness from the emotional solar plexus, the awareness from the ajna, right? We're taking all of this information and using it to make a decision, using it to decide how we want to move forward, allowing our decision making authorities, right? Whatever that may be, it may be splenic, it may be mental, right? It may, for reflectors, it may be lunar, it may be sacral, for our gens. So, or emotional, for some. So, there's so many different ways that our bodies are here to make decisions. And so it's for us to be open to not going with what we've been taught. And I think a lot of times we've been taught to use our heads, use your mind to make decision, make it make sense. But sometimes, for me, I have a splenic authority. Sometimes my decisions don't make sense. It don't make no sense to me, but it's what I know to be true because I know. So it's a very interesting process, but the human design system definitely encourages us not to use our head for decision making, and understanding that our head is a tool to use, and it's often used to help the collective. Okay. And so, as I already said, so gate 64 is going to be in the head center. Okay. And so let's start there. So I didn't even say, okay, whatever. But this is the process, right? Like me figuring out the process of it all, and also just like flowing with what comes up. So, gate 64 is a gate of confusion, it is a gate of mental clarity. It is also known as, I'm going to use the audio. It is also known as the gate before completion. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that because the gate before completion is a great name for it, because as it moves to the ajna, that's where the completion takes place. So this is the gate that basically starts things off, starts the mental process off. Okay. And so it's located in the head center, reaching down towards the gate 47, the gate of realization in the Ajna center. This is also known as the way of imagination when we're looking at it through the Gene Key lens, and the gate of wonder. You can also see this as curiosity. I really want to encourage you all that when you are working with these gates, be open to coming up with your own name, right? At the end of the day, you may feel this energy different than others, and it is okay for you to co- to develop your own relationship with the system. Please don't be scared. Please don't feel like, you'll notice there's a lot of people within the human design community that has connected with these energies in their own way. And it's not right, it's not wrong, you know what I mean? It just is, because there's so much information within the system, and there's information in these systems that we haven't yet even discovered, and you may discover it. So please, I always want to encourage people to, yes, the information that I'm sharing is information I have learned through research, through my own experiences, and at the same time, I trust and believe that there's more information out there that you may uncover. No one is going to see the world exactly how you see it. So if you see something in an energy, in an archetype, and it feels very real and true to you, that's okay to journey with that, and not judge, or not be like, is this right, is this wrong, and just journey with it, right? Allow yourself to live the questions, allow yourself to live the curiosity of it all, and be okay with not fully knowing. And I think that that's the journey of like the head center and human design. Is all about being okay with not knowing, being okay with not having the clarity right now. Every time I go through one of the gates in a head center, it always is there, right? Um, where it's all about, be okay with not knowing, be okay with not having full answers, because the head is not going to give you that. The ajna will, because the ajna is going to process all the energy, or the archetype, yeah, the archetype type energy from the head, all the ideas, the thoughts, the considerations, the questions, the inspiration is all going to get processed through the ajna. So the head wouldn't have clarity yet, right? And so um that's what it's a process. I always think about when I think about the head, I'm always like, yeah, it's speaking to a mental process, always. It's speaking to a mental process. Um so just FYI, I have been in the human design experiment for over 4 years, and I'm pretty solid in my chart. And then I learn as I go reading other people's charts. Currently, I've been invited, as you can see, to do the sun transits, which has, baby, when I tell you that it has opened my life in so many different ways, have been a constant evolution in different ways, constant awakenings in different ways, special mental awakenings, even emotional ones. Oh man. Yeah. So it's been a lot of processing through working with these gates. So if you feel called to follow the transits, please do follow them with me. Like, let's talk. We can go live together, whatever. Like, I'm always down to consider what else can be true. Like, I love this. It's so fun. I have a 1-3 profile. So this is my thing. Well, this is the thing I really, really enjoy. And so, like, this is how it shows up. Okay. So so the core theme of Gate 64 is all about the experience of confusion and mental chaos as the mind tries to organize and comprehend vast amounts of information. All right, so this gate brings a flood of abstract, nonlinear thoughts and images that can feel overwhelming. Okay, the challenge here with this gaze and this energy and influence is not to force immediate clarity, but to allow the mind to process the confusion naturally. Over time, the chaos begins to order itself, leading to moments of profound insight and clarity. So, this is what I was saying earlier when I was speaking to the idea that when it comes to the head, we're talking about a mental process. In this case, this gate basically have all this abstract information. It's not linear. It's all over the place, right? Like, it doesn't seem to connect. It doesn't seem to make sense, right? And so this is where the process begins, right? I mentioned earlier that the head is here to ask questions, ask and expect answers, okay? So this is how it basically, imagine something being turned on, right? Like, all these thoughts, ideas, they seem abstract, they seem like they don't go together, they don't seem logical. So basically they're all in your head, right? Like, you're just trying to make sense of it. This is turning the head on. This is where gate 64 is starting to turn its wheel. Like, I'm trying to decide which way I'm going. It's gonna decide to turn its wheel. Okay. It's spinning its wheel. It's spinning its wheel and it's turning on. And so, like, the process of gate 64 is basically like, you right, you have the chaos and the confusion. So when information and ideas come through to gate 64, right, they are often jumbled and chaotic, leading to confusion. This is the stage of before completion, right? Like I mentioned, the ajna is going to complete the process. So this is how it all starts. So this is before completion. This is before clarity. This is before things are making sense, right? Where things are in a state of flux and nothing is clear yet. And so we are then invited to consider possibilities, right? So Gate 64 invites us to consider all the possibilities that are being presented to us, and without getting overwhelmed or rushing to conclusions. So the key here is to observe the confusion, right? Make note of it. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, this is overwhelming, right? Or this isn't making sense, right? And allow the mind to go through its natural process of shifting through the chaos. When I started reading about this gate and just contemplating and sitting with it, I definitely was able to recognize the times where I was overwhelmed by my thoughts. Like, I know what it feels like to feel this pressure to make sense of it and for things to just be clear. It's like you have these questions, but or you have these things that you're considering, but it just doesn't make sense. And you're just like, what it just doesn't make sense. And sometimes you just want to know, like, it needs to make sense, or you feel overwhelmed by it. I know for me, there's times where I get so overwhelmed where I literally have to say out loud, wait, wait, this is a lot, right? And there's also times where I feel like I be in my head and I get to a point where I'm just like, you know what, spirit? Like, I know that right now this doesn't make sense. And I've thought of all the possibilities, I believe. And at this point, I'm just going to let it go. And I trust that the clarity will come. And it always does. Sometimes I feel like I'm just putting an order into the universe. Like, hey, make sense of this. Like, I know that there's something here. I don't know what it is, but I'll wait. And there's times where I be having like thoughts and opinions and they feel incomplete. And I'm just like, oh, clearly I don't have all the answers. I don't have the full understanding. Um, it definitely happens when I'm like creating something. Like I will get bits and pieces of like visuals, but it just won't make sense until it does. But it's about, understanding that this is part of the process, that this is part of being human, that, we don't have to be overwhelmed by the things not making sense. We don't have to be overwhelmed. Sorry. Okay. I heard someone in the hallway. Okay. We don't have to be overwhelmed by they're really close to my door. So I didn't know if they was gonna ring the bell. Sounds like a USPS. It's USPS. I'm like, it sounds like them. Because I heard the little beep. Anywho, distracted. But yeah, so like I know that I feel like that this can look and feel different for different people. And so I want to encourage you to check in with yourself. What does it feel like when you are overwhelmed with thoughts that don't yet make sense? What happens when abstract thoughts come into your mind, abstract ideas and concepts come into your mind? How do you respond to them? How do you handle them? How do you process them? Just FYI, I have a open head, completely open. I don't have any gates active. So I'm not used to feeling this pressure, right? And so people with a defined head will have they will have consistency in this expression of pressure and what that feels like or looks like for them. For me, I don't have a consistent way, right? So every time it can express different, feel different for me. And so like that's what I tend to experience. But I know generally like after reading about this, I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely experienced this. I definitely understand what they mean by the process of it all. And I definitely feel like this, when I think about the channel of abstraction 64 to 47, I think I see it as also like a mental awakening. And we'll talk about that next week about like how that full process looks and what it can signify. And also like what does the gene keys say about this? Because it's definitely like yummy and definitely like it's energy shifting and life changing and life shifting in different ways. All right. So basically, when we're dealing with gate 64, we're being invited to consider possibilities. So the other thing is trusting the process, right? This is part of the process of gate 64. It's important for us not to act prematurely or to force clarity, right? So gate 64 is about trusting that clarity will come in its own time. The confusion is a necessary part of the mental digestion process, and by allowing it to unfold naturally, clarity will emerge when it's ready. Part of this is trusting the unfolding of life, right? I think that sometimes we get in a thing where we need to know right now, we need to know right now, but it's like, no, chill out. Be easy. Like it's gonna all make sense. Because sometimes when we rush, we don't have all the answers, right? You're trying to force understanding or you're trying to force clarity, but in doing that, you may miss some very important information that you need. And so, Gate 64, the process of it, this awareness we now have of its existence, is for us to, it's an invitation for us to start paying attention to our own processes, our own mental processes. How does it feel for you? How does this look for you? How do you experience this energy? Right. And now that you have the awareness that this is how this gate processes, then when you get confused or when you feel chaotic or when you feel overwhelmed, that you can know like, hey, clarity is on its way. Clarity is on its way. This is letting me know that clarity is on its way because in that chaos, if we're not fighting the chaos, if we just accept it, if we just kind of step back and allow it to take its natural process, it will unfold. It will make clear exactly what it is that is meant to be clear. But when we're in there and trying to move things around, trying to make sense of it, we make more confusion. We create more chaos. You know what I mean? When we're trying to force a certain outcome as opposed to like, hey, I know that these are all possibilities. Let me kind of wait and see exactly what's up. And I know that I will know when I know, where the clarity is. So the gift of this gate is the ability to harness the power of imagination, right? Like when we release the need for immediate understanding and allow our minds to wander, the confusion transform into a rich source of inspiration, right? Our mind can access a deep well of creativity, leading to innovative ideas and original insights, right? This is the gift of finding patterns and meaning in what initially seems like chaos. So when what ends up happening here in this gate is, like I said, the information comes in, right? It then goes down to the ajna for the ajna to process it. What the ajna does, and we're going to talk about this more next week, but what the ajna does is the ajna is taking information from the past. It is paying attention to the patterns, and it is making sense of things by considering what we already know, what we already been through, and then it's using that information to help us move forward. Okay, and so let's keep that in mind. This is a full process, right? So first you come in with these linear ideas, right? This is definitely giving me right facing, right? Because that's the abstract thoughts, the abstract ideas. Remember, there's also a part of the head center that is logical. So this is the abstract side of this. This is the non-linear side of it. And so this is where, as we're playing with our imagination, right? As we're considering what's possible, it's going to the ajna, and through the ajna at gate 47, that's where the realization happens. Well, that's where the clarity happens. That's where we make sense of things. So sometimes you may just be in process. And I think that's a great way to look at gate 47, that we are just in process. I'm in process. I'm in mental process right now. People ask you, "Oh, did you ever figure out what you want to do with that?" Now we still in mental process. We still in mental process. And think about this, right? Right now it's transiting through gate 64 as the sun. Okay, so this is right now we're being affected as the collective with this energy, right? And so at this time we may have been feeling confusion. Right now there's probably more clarity, and I definitely feel like I've been experiencing more clarity here, hence why I'm here testing out live. This is part of why I'm here. I got the aha moment where spirit is like, maybe live is your jam. Try it. Maybe this is your way, right? You've tried all the other ways. Maybe this is it. And so, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of us basically, as we're moving into gate 47 tomorrow, is basically saying for the collective that we're coming to a place of clarity. We're coming to a place of completion of a cycle, right? But this is just a cycle because once one cycle ends, another one begins. So beautiful, but it's like, it's just knowing that. And not necessarily it gotta be a gate 64 cycle, it could be any of the gate cycles that's gonna begin. But the whole point is like we go through cycles, and even mental cycles, and even our mental process has a cycle, just like we have a cycle, just like the world has a cycle, nature has cycles, right? Like a lot of times we are judging things, or we are having these human experiences where we feel chaos, where we are experiencing chaos or confusion, and we judge it, or we think that something's naturally wrong, and we convince ourselves that something is wrong. But sometimes that is just what happens before the breakthrough happens. That is just what happens before the clarity happens, and we are tasked with trusting that unfolding, trusting that process, right? So when we're talking about confusion and we're talking about the chaos, what might that even look like, right? And I'm gonna take some notes here from my article. I actually had an outline, but I'm like, now that I'm looking at the article, I'm like, oh, I could just use the article, right? So confusion under the influence of Gate 64 can manifest as a whirlwind of seemingly unrelated thoughts, ideas, and memories. Imagine trying to remember a dream when you wake up and it's just a jumble of scenes and emotions that you can't quite piece together. The mind races, jumping from one thought to another, trying to make connections that aren't clear yet. So the pressure of gate 64 can feel intense and urgent, right? You may feel a strong need to make sense of the confusion immediately, to find clarity on the mental pressure can be so the mental pressure can be relieved. And that's the thing about the head center pressure. And I feel like this about pressure generally when we're speaking from the lens of human design and just our lived experience, is that if you pay attention to your body, you can feel the pressure. You can feel the pressure. It is a very intense feeling. Like, I felt pressure to make sense of things or understand things, where my head start hurting, where I'm just so like annoyed to the point like sometimes I even want to cry. I don't experience that now, but there's been times in the past where I get so frustrated and overwhelmed with like not being able to understand something that I literally be on the verge of tears because the pressure is so overwhelming. And I feel like when this pressure happens, right? Sometimes it can result in you moving quicker than you need to. I think about the root center all the time when I think about pressure, because I definitely have had it where I feel this pressure in my body, and all of a sudden, I just start doing too fucking much. I just start moving really, really fast because, like, you have to let that pressure go. And so sometimes when we feel this pressure, we try to relieve it by deciding something, making a decision, moving, speaking, whatever it is that spirit hasn't told us to do, our bodies haven't told us to do, but we need to let out this energy. We need to release it. We don't know how to just be with the discomfort or with the overwhelm or with the confusion or with the chaos, because we don't know how to to be with that energy. We try to relieve ourselves of it, and when we try to relieve ourselves of it, that can mean that we're moving quicker than normal, or we're just saying yes, or prematurely making a decision, or prematurely deciding something, or prematurely saying something, or deciding that we have the answer, as opposed to being like, you know what, this may be true, let me share it, right? And share it from the place of possibility, as opposed to this is definite. Okay. And I feel like with Gate 64, it really does speak to confusion is a necessary part of the process. The energy of Gate 64 teaches us that confusion is not something to be avoided or feared. And I talked about that earlier. I think that when we feel these pressures, we judge them, right? Because it's like, it's so interesting that in this life, I often feel like, or my experience has been that people feel like we should be something that we're not. We should be poised, we should have it together, we shouldn't be making mistakes, we should always be in adult mode, and whatever that means, or we should always be in a certain kind of energy, or act a certain way, or show up a certain way. It's like people don't want us to be human, they don't want us to have our human experience. And when I say that, I mean they just don't want us to express being human in all its facets. Like, it's like we only want the good of what we deem to be the good of humanity, what we deem to be um acceptable. It's just so interesting. It's like you can't really mess up, or people don't want you to like make a fool of yourself. And it's just so weird because it's like we're having a human experience. None of us have done this before. And like, yeah, we've done it before, but we don't remember. So it's like we get another shot to do it again, and we get to do it our way, and we get to explore the whole spectrum of what it means to be human, even if no one gets it, even if no one understands it. And so like to try to deny these natural experiences, it's so interesting to me. Deny the fact that we get overwhelmed sometimes, deny the fact that we may experience feeling anxiety, deny the fact that we may experience depressive like symptoms, and we judge them so harshly, or we judge them as if they are a negative thing in and of itself, when all these things are guideposts. All these things are giving us information. They're guiding us on our journey. They're telling us what's true for us, what's not, what works for us, what doesn't, which path to take, which path not to take, right? If you're having depressive like symptoms, then, clearly your thoughts need to be checked on, right? You probably need to make some new decisions. You probably need to decide some things, right? So that is all letting you know that there's things in your life you need to check in with. There's things in your life you need to tune into. There's things in your life that need your attention. These are not these are good, this is helpful, right? Like, this is helpful information. Even if you don't like the way it's presented, it is helpful information. So to like I just wish more of us to just accept our human experience, and not allow anyone outside of us to make us feel bad for having it, no matter what it looks like. You get to be human. You get to have these experiences. You get to practice radical acceptance in all aspects of who you are and what you are here to do. All of this is earth school for all of us. We're learning lessons. We're embodying different versions of ourselves. We're going out into the world expressing whatever message we are here to share with the collective. And we are learning our message and understanding our message by living, by experiencing life, by being open to life, by letting life unfold for us. That's what we're here to do. I truly believe that. So yeah, confusion as a necessary part of the process, right? So the energy of gate 64 teach us that confusion is not something to be feared or avoided, right? It's a natural and necessary part of the process. The flood of abstract thoughts, my bad, I'm also congested, but that's a conversation for another day. So the flood of abstract thoughts and ideas is actually the mind's way of processing complex experiences and seeking to make sense of them. The key is to understand that clarity doesn't come from forcing the mind to figure everything out immediately. Yeah, when we're trying to force things, all we are doing is um, causing resistance. We're creating resistance. We're asking something to be something than it is, something different than what it currently is. We're asking it to become something different than what it currently is. We're resisting what is. Okay. So in gate 64, confusion is the precursor to understanding. It is part of the process. The same way how some of us say that failure is part of the process of success. Yeah, some things are part of the process. Okay, baby. You don't need to try to avoid it. You don't need to be mad at it. You don't need to be annoyed with it. Just accept that, hey, it's part of the process. Let's go through it. Let's see what's up. Okay. So it's like being in the dark before the dawn, right? The mental pressure pushes us to explore possibilities, to engage with ideas and concepts that might not make sense yet, but that are necessary steps on a path of clarity. So, how can we work with this energy, right? When you feel the pressure of confusion, instead of rushing to resolve it, I've learned to sit with it, to consider the possibilities and then to let it go. I talked to you earlier where I was like, there are times where I just feel like I'm giving an order to the universe, where I'm putting in my order for clarity. I'm putting in my order for understanding. I'm putting in my orders for the ideas to make sense. I'm putting in my orders for my next steps. You know, I just have to, like, yeah, I see all these ideas. Yeah, they don't make sense to me. There's nothing I could do about that, right? But wait, there's literally nothing I could do but wait for the clarity to come, right? So I've learned to sit with it and to consider the possibilities and then to let it go. It's okay to be like, you know what? I'm fucking overwhelmed. This shit don't make sense. And it actually has me feeling a little annoyed. Like that's how I be. And I say what it is. I accept that like I don't feel comfortable. This does not feel good. And I think like when we're that honest with our emotions, that honest with ourselves, like we're not blaming anyone. We're not mad at anything in particular. We're just saying like, hey, this doesn't feel good, but I know it's part of the process. I know clarity is coming because I've been here so many times. Right? I know that this is a process that I'm aware of because that's what this all boils down to. These processes are naturally happening, but are you aware that they're happening? Now that we're talking about gate 64, I promise you, you are now going to be aware of this process. You are now going to notice the symptoms. You're going to notice its presence. Watch, because that's what human design does. It really just makes you aware of a process that's naturally happening. It makes you aware of the archetypes that are in play, right? All these energies are in all of us. Yeah, they may be dormant, but all of us have access to all the archetypes within the human design system, within the gene key system, within astrology. We have access to all the archetypes. We can be influenced by any of them. And that's why the transits happen, right? There's some energies we're more consistent with. Like for me, right, the Leo energy, I'm super mindful of because it's in my sun, moon, Mars, and other placements. So I'm very used to that energy, right? But if it was like I don't have a lot of Earth energy at all in my chart, so if it was like a Taurus, I don't what the fuck, you know what I mean? But this year, Taurus is actually transiting through my rising sign. So I'm really trying to embrace that energy because they got boundaries that I am here for, okay? I am here for Taurus boundaries, okay? Boundary me up. And I'm definitely feeling Taurus energy these days because I am not playing about myself. Like, I've leveled up, okay, energetically, especially with my boundaries and about like what I allow and don't allow already. Taurus is beaming me up. Okay. Taurus energy is beaming me up this season. And so I'm loving that for myself. And so, like, we have access to all these energies. They're just not always active in our energetic field. And so sometimes you got to intentionally wake it up, or a transit can wake it up, or you know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's also something to keep in mind. These are processes that are naturally happening even if we're not aware of it. But as we're talking about it, I have no doubt that you will experience these energies. You will be more aware of them, and I think that that's something beautiful, because I think through this process we also learn that there's so much we don't know. And it also helps us to be more open to life as a whole, because it becomes so magical and so exciting, because there's so much more that we can experience, that we can do, that we may not even be thinking of. But when we start engaging and experimenting with the human design system and just seeing how it shows up in our everyday lives, I'm telling y'all, if you're into this, if you're even a little bit curious, I have no doubt that this will help shift and change your life. And I want us to do that together. So, how to work with this energy. So when you feel the pressure of confusion, like I said, I've learned to like sit with it, to consider the possibilities, and then to let it go. You don't need to make all the sense of it. You don't need to come to a guaranteed conclusion. Sometimes you will, but sometimes it's going to take more time than, excuse me, a sitting session. Okay. So, this is the essence of working with the gate 64. It's about trusting that clarity will come when the time is right, and that the process of confusion is actually leading you toward a deeper understanding. Confusion is like planting a seed. It's like I said, like confusion is also like um what I said about, like, as I'm confused and everything else and I come to a place of acceptance, it's like I give it up to the universe, right? Like, hey, this is my order. Can you make sense of this? Can you give me clarity behind this? And that's exactly what I get, you know? I went to put my foot down. And that's exactly what I get. Gotta keep checking. So so confusion is like planting a seed, right? You scatter them into the soil of your mind, knowing that they need time to just germinate. They need time to just be, okay? And you don't dig them up to check if they're growing, right? Like you trust that in time they will sprout and flourish, revealing the pattern and meaning that is hidden in the chaos. I always say that there's clarity in the chaos, there's answers in the chaos. It's in the chaos. But you have to let the chaos do what the chaos do so it can process in the way that the chaos processes. You gotta let the chaos do what the chaos does, okay? So I mentioned earlier that, this is going to affect the collective because it is a sun transit right now, right? So it's going to affect all of us. And for the collective, the confusion is a shared experience, especially during times when the sun or other significant planets are transiting gate 64. During these times, we might notice that many people around us are struggling with unclear thoughts, trying to make sense of situations that seem tangled or complex. It's important to recognize that we are all in this process together. We are all experiencing it. It's a process that all of us are experiencing, whether, like I said, whether we're aware of it or not, it's happening, right? And the collective confusion can manifest as widespread uncertainty or doubt, where everyone is searching for answers and trying to make sense of the world around them. But this collective confusion also carries the potential for collective clarity. As each individual processes their own confusion and comes to their own realization, these insights can be shared, helping to uplift and enlighten the whole. All right. So we want to embrace confusion as a path to clarity. So ultimately, confusion through Gate 64 is an invitation to embrace the unknown, to allow yourself to be in a state of not knowing, and to trust that clarity will come with time. It's about releasing the need to have all the answers immediately and instead honoring the process of mental digestion. When you do this, confusion becomes not a burden, but a gateway to greater wisdom and understanding. Like I said, right? Like wishing it away. We don't need to resist this. This is a process that is naturally happening, and if you allow the process to happen, you will learn so much. Not only through the process, but through the clarity that comes. By understanding confusion in this way, we can move through it with more grace and patience, knowing that is a vital part of our journey toward mental clarity and spiritual growth. I truly believe that Gate 64 to 47 does speak to an awakening, a mental awakening. It speaks to spirituality. It speaks to the spirit. It's so interesting to think about all the ways in which energy works and our body works. And human design speaks to this. As someone who channels energy, human design has given me language to better express like what I'm picking up in the energy fields, what I'm picking up when, two auras come together and they create this new energetic field, what it means to be picking up energy. I share on my different platforms how, like, in my apartment, I can always tell, like, there's parts in my apartment where I can be like, oh my gosh, there's heavy energy here. And I will feel so uncomfortable in the energy until I break it, until I like move things out the way and provide a space for things to move and flow with more ease. Like, because there's a heaviness or a darkness there. And I'm like, I can feel it energetically. It feels stuffy. It feels overwhelming. And but the thing is, like I said, right, when we have this awareness, our relationship with life, our relationship with the world, and our relationship with ourselves and others will change because you will start seeing the world from a different place. So I really do want to invite you all to journey with me through these sun transits, and let's see what happens. Let's see what shows up. Let's see what we learn about ourselves and each other through it, right? So here are some tips for transiting for the transit of gate 64. As I said, right, the transit is almost over because we are moving into gate 47. But I wanted to come here and talk about gate 64 because we're going to talk about gate 47. And as I talk about gate 47, we're going to talk again about gate 64 because we're going to talk about the channel. So today I'm not going to talk about the channel of abstraction, which is gate 64 and gate 47 coming together, because we're going to talk about it next week anyway, and we're going to talk about the whole process of this, right? Like I said, gate 64 is um this is the before completion gate, right? This is before the before the mental clarity. This is before the mental completion. So as we talk about gate 47, we're going to talk about how the process gets to a place of realization, right? It is completing gate 47 completes the mental process. And so we're going to talk about that while we're talking about gate 47, okay? So here's the tips. As the sun transits through gate 64, everyone is influenced by this energy, whether we're aware of it or not. I think when you are aware of it, you will notice how it's showing up for you because you will know what you're looking for. And it's such a different thing. Like, you have to have the awareness for certain things for you to know it exists. There's some things that exist around us and we don't even notice it exists because we just don't have the awareness for it. Right. But the more we expand our awareness, the more we become aware of more things around us. I really believe that there's things that's around us every single day that we do not see simply because we don't have the awareness for it. We're not looking for it. We don't know of it until we do. There's things that I now have awareness for that I didn't before. And I'm just like, how did I not notice this? Like, how did I not notice this? Especially patterns within myself, patterns within my behavior, patterns within my actions, or even my mental processes or my emotional processing. I've learned so much about myself just through the awareness I'm gaining through human design. And I think it can happen for all of us. So, like I said, as the sun transits through gate 64, everyone is influenced by this energy, whether they have it defined in their chart or not. Like I said, I don't have it defined, but I'm very well aware of this energy. I know what it feels like. I know what the experience has been like for me. But again, because I don't have it defined, the process won't be natural. I mean, won't always be the same. Not natural. The process won't always be the same. It won't be as consistent. All right. And so during this time, you might feel an increase in mental activity and a sense of confusion or overwhelm, right? But we want to use this time to practice patience with our mind, engage in activities that allow your thoughts to flow without pressure, such as journaling, meditation, or creative pursuits. Remember that clarity is on its way and the insights you seek will come when the time is right, right? By embracing the confusion, you open the door to new possibilities and deeper understanding, allowing the inspiration and ideas within you to take shape naturally. Okay, so like I said, gate 64 is part of the channel of mental clarity, is part of the channel of abstraction, because it is where the head center connects to the ajna center. And its channel is all about dealing with shared experiences and processing of life's event through reflection and understanding, because it is a collective abstract channel. It is also a projected gate. Yes. Most gates are projected. Yeah, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure this is a projected gate because you gotta ask. Yeah, projected gate. So yeah, so once right, this is my first time going live. Hopefully, as our community grows, my intentions is to continue to go live doing this. And once we're engaged, we're just gonna be having a conversation, right? I think for right now, I'm just talking, but once y'all join me in these conversations, we will actually talk in the moment about this. We'll get a template and process down. I'm very big on being flexible in my processing, right? I have a Gemini rising, so I'm very good at being able to adapt to situations. And also, I would like things to benefit not just me, but everyone involved. And so, I would love to know your feedback and know like what you're looking for when it comes to human design and see if that's something that feels correct for me. So, we can really build this community together. I do believe that I'm going to try to go as live as much as possible. Um, because I really do like this. This feels good. This feels great. I have already decided that I will be using notes because if not, I will go on tangents. I will be all over, and that's not. But we'll see how it plays out, right? Because I might be just doing this for now as I settle in, and then who knows, how I will want to do that. All right, so I already told you about Gate 64. I told you about like what that might look like. It really just comes down to it's a mental process. It's all about confusion and making sense of things and being with the pressure and being okay with it. I said I wasn't going to go over the channel. I do have notes right here about the channel, and I'm like, do I want to just say it? But let me look over my outline and make sure I didn't forget anything. And then I think I will actually share about. I will introduce the channel, and then we're gonna wrap up. So I am gonna introduce the channel, and then we're gonna wrap up. Um, So yeah, so one of the things that y'all can reflect on as we are wrapping up this energy, if you watch this video today or whenever you watch it, you can still consider how this energy shows up in your life, right? Do you have this gate active? What does it feel like for you? Do you have this whole channel? What is that experience like for you? Okay. One thing you can ask yourself is, have you felt mentally overwhelmed or as if ideas are swirling around without clarity? You know, you can consider that. Um, so yeah, I think that should really it. I feel like we really did go over everything. I'm not gonna talk about Gate 47 because we're talking about it next week. I'm currently working on well, I worked on the blog post already yesterday. So the blog post will be on Medium early on uh Monday. So it'll be up early tomorrow. So I'm on Medium as Charlie's Truth. So please feel free to go over there and join the mailing list or whatever else. I also shared the friend link on my Twitter page, which is also Charlie's Truth. So every week I put up notes about whatever gate we're in, as well as the article is always at the bottom of it. As soon as the article is available, I add the link to it. So you'll always have that available. And then on within 24 hours of the gate transiting, my plan is to go live. Now that we're going, my plan was to have a video up. Now that we're going live, we'll actually decide when we want to go live. So as this community grows, because this is a new channel, as this community grows, I'll put up polls and we can decide when we want to go live. And we can also pick a time where we want to check in before the transit leaves. It's up to y'all. We can really do what we want. Since this is going to be live, it's going to be way easier for me to prepare and just jump on, as opposed to like recording the video, editing it. I can't get when I'm doing it like that. I can't guarantee much. So because life happens. But if I'm just like showing up, and then we're letting whatever happens be what it is, then that's me. That's my jam. And I want y'all to see like different. I want y'all to see me expressing too. Like you know, sorry, there's a pop up on my screen. Okay. I wanted y'all to see the different aspects of me too, right? Like now y'all don't yeah, like I like to keep it real. I've been going by Charlie's Truth for years because I just like to live my truth. And every sorry y'all, I'm getting all these. So I'm not on my main computer because my main computer don't have Chrome. And in order for me to go live on YouTube, I needed Chrome. So I'm on my old Mac and like I'm just getting all these messages like about like malware and like y'all. Please hold. All right, so let's talk about this channel before we head on out. Like I said, we're gonna make this what we're gonna make it. I'm so excited I went live. I'm really, really happy. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm so ready to y'all again, these pop-ups. I have not been on this computer in a while, so that's probably why everything is like coming through now. Uh but we're gonna make it work. Anywho, so we're gonna talk about the channel of the mental clarity. It's also known as the channel of abstract yeah, I got distracted. Yeah. Channel of abstraction or the channel of mental clarity. So gate 64, right? That this gate of confusion, gate of mental clarity. I think we should call it gate of confusion because that's really what it boils down to. So, all right. So the gate of confusion connects to gate 47. And gate 47, like I said, is the completion of the process. Is when gate 64 connects with gate 47, forming the channel of mental clarity. Um, the energy of gate 64's confusion finds resolution, right? Gate 47 processes the abstract information, bringing clarity and insight, making sense of what was previously chaotic. Once clarity is achieved, we reach a point of completion where we can articulate or express the understanding we've gained, right? Making the beginning of a new cycle of awareness. Right now, you have clarity. Now, you have understanding. The channel of mental clarity is all about processing life through a mental lens. Okay. Like I said, right, there's different ways of awareness, there's different ways of making sense of things. One of them is mental, right? One of them is through our body, one of them is more spiritual. Um, more emotional, right? So we have emotional awareness, we have body awareness, which is the splenic, then we have emotional awareness, which is the emotional solar plexus, and then we have mental awareness, which is the ajna center, right? So there's different levels and spaces of awareness that we're gaining. Um, and so in this case, we're talking about processing life through a mental lens. It represents a journey from confusion to clarity. This channel is not about immediate understanding. Rather, it's about allowing time for experiences to be digested and for insights to emerge gradually. So it's really allowing the time for the process to work its way through. You're not in control, you don't get to control it, and it's okay. Gate 64, as mentioned earlier, right? This gate brings a flood of abstract thoughts, mental images, and confusion, right? This is why it's before completion. It's the initiation of the process where ideas are still unformed and chaotic. Then we get to gate 47, like I said, which is the realization. This is located in the ajna center. Like I said, the pressure moves from the head down to the ajna. Uh, Towards the awareness. And so the confusion from gate 64 begins to be processed and organized once it reaches gate 47. It's about turning abstract, unclear thoughts into realizations and forming coherent patterns. The energy here is about finding meaning and making sense of the abstract concepts received from gate 47, gate 64. Sorry. So the energy of this channel is the mental process of moving from unknown to the known, from chaos to order. Is deeply reflective and is about taking time to digest experiences, thoughts, often after the fact, to find meaning. I talked about how it's looking for patterns. It's looking for patterns. So it's making sense of it using patterns and knowings, and then using that information to move forward. Something about me is like that's why I'm really good at channeling energy, or I believe that that's why I can easily make sense of energy because my body has a way of being able to pick up on patterns. A lot of times, like I look at people and I be around people and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this energy. I know this energy. I know this energy. And usually I can figure out where I know the energy from. I believe that all of us, like I said, have as access to all that same energy. It just expresses differently. Um, I always used to when I first started like noticing how we're all like expressing the same energy and it just looks different. I used to always laugh because I feel like people are often complaining about people or things that they also do. It just looks different. I remember I was in law school and I got into it with this girl, and I realized I was like, I just don't like her energy. It reminds me of me, of a younger version of me. And, like, she got offended by it, but I'm like, "It's the truth." Like, it's just not that I didn't say I didn't like the energy. I was like, there was something about the energy that reminded me of when I was younger, when I used to, say little sly shit, do like, I knew what I was doing to people, and I knew how what I was saying was affecting them, and yet I still did it to be a little shit, you know? And so, that's what her energy was giving me, and I know that energy so, so well, and I don't think I was wrong. I was really right about it. Like, you can feel how you wanna feel, but girl, you are your inner world is not well, and that is why you're acting like that. You know what I mean? And we all have different things that we have to work on, but for me, I noticed that I knew her energy because I had been there before. Yeah, it was expressing just a little bit different, but I could feel the energy. I knew what it was. And I feel that often with people. Like, it's patterns playing out. That's what it is about breaking cycles too, right? It's all about the patterns that's playing out, the energies that's playing out. Um, they're not new. They're not new, but they just express different. They just look different. All right. So those with this channel defined in their chart are naturally inclined to ponder life events, reflect on their experiences, and eventually, through patience, arrive at moments of clarity and insight. Now, let's talk a little bit about the shadow of this channel, right? The main challenge for those with this channel and during times when the energy is active is dealing with the discomfort of not knowing and being in a state of mental confusion, because this can lead to frustration, overthinking, and mental exhaustion if one tries to force clarity too soon. I told you already, like, trying to force things is the same thing as resisting it. And you will feel it. You will feel it. A lot of us exhaust our energy because we're trying to force things. We're trying to make something happen that's not ready to happen, and it's requiring so much more energy out of us to to try to make it happen, that we get exhausted, we get overwhelmed, we burn out. Let go. Let go. Just release. Release. Okay? Release. Let go. Let things be what they're going to be. Accept things for what they are. Don't fight with it. Don't complain about it. Just be like, you know what? This feels like shit, but it is what it is. Accept where we are as we are. But the gift of this channel is the ability to reflect deeply on experiences and extract meaningful insights from them. The whole idea is like every experience we have, right? Every shadow we experience, everything has a gift in it, right? Everything is happening for our good. I truly believe this. Everything is happening to support us on this journey. Every experience we have has a purpose, including this mental processing experience. Okay, so let things be what they are. Trust the unfolding, allow the process of things. Those with this channel often have profound insights that can benefit the collective when they share their realizations. Remember, this is projected and a collective, so it's meant to be shared with the collective. It's meant to benefit the whole, and at the same time, it's meant to be shared with the right people, right? That's what projected is all about. It's about waiting for the invitation, sharing it with the correct people, so it could be received in a way it's meant to be received. All right. So, with this energy and with this channel, right, we want to, uh, like I said, right, is a collective understanding. This is a collective channel, so meaning that the insights and realizations that come from this channel are meant to be shared with others. It's about contributing to the collective understanding and helping others make sense of the world, because that's what it comes down to. We all are trying to make sense of the world, but from a mental lens, right? And then there's other lenses we can make sense of the world. But for the mental lens, this is the way we do it. Patience is required, like I said, with this energy. The energy of this channel requires patience. The energy of Gate 64 requires patience. Forcing clarity too soon can lead to frustration. So just accept what is as it is. Stop trying to fight it. Stop trying to force it. Stop trying to have your will be done. Okay. It's a mental processing, right? The channel is primarily mental, dealing with the abstract processing of life's experiences. It's not about logical step by step thinking, but rather about finding meaning in seemingly chaotic and abstract. So embrace the confusion, trust the process, and share your insights. Once clarity is achieved, sharing your insights can be valuable to the collective, okay? Helping others to understand complex or abstract concepts. So I say all that to be patient with your mind. Know that clarity comes through time. Um, I'm so excited I was able to come here and share this with you all. Like I said, next up is Gate 64, Gate 47. That is in the Audience Center. It completes the channel of mental clarity and the channel of abstraction with Gate 64. So 64 and 47 completes the channel of abstraction. Right now the energy is just flowing through me. So what I'm saying, I'm not absolutely remembering. So I'm like, what? But y'all gonna get to see my process because it's very interesting. Sometimes my brain is just like, I love my brain. It's so fun in there. It's so fun, right? The brain is a tool, in my opinion. So I use my mind to enjoy myself. I'm very big on imagination. I'm very big on considering possibilities and bigger pictures and coming to places of conclusion, but knowing that more can be true and I might not have all the answers and being at peace with that. I love the constant learning, the constant expanding and growing in awareness. And so anywho, I'm gonna head up on out of here. I love you all so much. I love myself. I love us. We are doing the damn thing. I'm so proud of where we are on this journey. Wherever you are, know that know that you're exactly where you need to be. Know that the journey is exactly what it's meant to be. Trust the unfolding. Have fun. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Please come and hang out over here. If you ever need to pick me up, I'm definitely an energy for that. If you ever need to be supported on your journey, I'm definitely the energy of that. Um, I know where I've been, and that's really what it boils down to. I know where I've been. That's why it's easy for me to be at peace where everybody else is because I know where I've been. And so if you're here and you're listening, then I know that you're on a journey too. And I would love to journey with you. So come through here. We're going to be doing this often. I love it. I'm so excited I came here. I'm so excited that this worked out, that I was able to go live. This was my first time. So I thank you all. If you watched it to the end, please leave me some purple hearts. Uh, no, leave some pink hearts. Leave some pink hearts. Pink is for compassion. Leave some pink hearts. That is my jam. I love compassion. It is my joint. So please leave some pink hearts so I can know that you stayed this far. And I love you. Please, please, please like and follow. Like I said, I think I'm gonna be going live mostly, so that's what we'll be doing. And you can help me decide what time. And yeah, I love you. I love us. Let's have a great rest of the weekend on purpose, and I will see you all in a couple of days. Be well, be blessed, be kind to yourself and to all those around you. I'm sending you a heart. I will be dressed hopefully next time. But if not, that's the point of me wanting to go live because I just want to be myself. And this is who we are today. Today we just comfy, cozy Sunday, taking our time, hopefully, and enjoying life. We're choosing to live life the way that feels correct for us. So I love you all. I'll speak to you all soon. Be well. Be safe. Okay? Be kind to yourself and those around you.